we had a chance to have to share this Infinita visit from you guys. And now we are virtually speaking about how can we bring some of these benefits of technological expedition into Brazil and to the rest of the world. And I'm really happy that that Founder House started this initiative for us to share what we are doing over here, because we believe that this is an interesting connecting point between efficient capital markets, special economic zones, and a lot of LATAM, because we are also in Latin America right now. We are in Prospera, that is in Roatan, that is in Honduras. And a lot of the benefits that we have over here, they can be extrapolated to Brazil. And for people that don't know us, I can more or less tell some of the things that we do. So Infinita main goal is to accelerate biotech development. We want to create an ageless society. We want to eliminate aging. And this might sound a little bit eccentric, and it is eccentric, but it's also based on science and feasibility. It actually can happen. We have animals that exist in our world that don't age. We have, for example, jellyfish that live for hundreds and thousands of years, that their aging remains the same. We even have mammals that until the moment that they die, they don't change in terms of their biology regarding aging impacts. For example, the naked mole rat. So basically, this realm of science, the main goal is how can we, based on organisms that exist in our planet, give the opportunity for people to eliminate age and aging related problems. So ultimately, what we want is to figure out how can humans live longer without disease and without fragility. Because the reality is that no one wants to have chronic diseases. No one wants to become fragile and dependent on everyone else. We want to have healthy, longer lives. And by doing what we are doing, a side effect of having health, longer lives is that we don't die, at least because we were killed by a disease. It doesn't mean that we are immortal, because immortality doesn't exist. It means that we have the chance to choose how long you want to live. And this is the main focus of why Infinita exists. But for us to work in such a frontier area of development, we had to try to access places in the world that allow for frontier, fringe technological development to become a reality, and therefore Prospera. And this is quite interesting because Prospera, in this particular case, it allows us to use legal optimization, so we can define what are the best laws that don't stop and mitigate technological development. But it's also interesting to understand that this is a special economic zone, because most of the development that happened in the last couple of centuries, they came from special economic zones. For example, Hong Kong was a special economic zone, and it went from a fishing village to one of the most important cities in the world, Web3 and legal tech. So what you find over here is actually one of the most unique ecosystems, because we are developing the first human enhancement platform that gathers bioengineering, cybernetics, and digital selves, and AI into the digital selves aspect, to enable one of the most advanced ecosystems in the world. On the other side, we are the first world crypto city that actually has crypto laws, that has Web3 ingrained in our legal system. So this becomes a natural hub for anyone that is either working in human enhancements or that believes that Web3 can be used to build real-world assets, and it's fundamental for economic and technological development. So these are usually the kind of startups that we want to have over here. People that work with bioengineering, with stem cells, that work with implants, brain-computer interfaces, that work with nanobots, with robotics, people that work with insurance, but on blockchain, people that develop mechanisms to lend crypto to buy a house. For example, Nicholas, the founder of Infinita, he had the opportunity to buy his own house with a protocol that loaned him money through crypto, through Web3. So what we want to, yeah, and this is, first of all, this is a call to action for everyone that wants to work in these frontier technologies that really difficultly can be done anywhere else in the world. You can study and research and development anywhere else in the world, but only here you can fully deploy them to its full capacity. So first of all, we invite everyone that wants to make part of building not only new societies, but also new forms of human, because we are enhancing ourselves. So how does the acceleration work? So this is really early stages. We start working on this a year ago, and our top 10 startups pre-seed, I'm not including the ones that were already in seed stage, they were able to fundraise after coming through us more than $10 million, the top 10 startups. Oh. And more than 50% of the people that came to work with us that didn't fundraise, they were absorbed by the community and they are working with us developing their own projects. So there's a high probability that if you come over here, you can either fundraise or find a community that will help you develop your own projects, and even just come over here and, sorry for my French, get some shit done. Because the reality—
Get shit done.
Exactly. This is the most important thing, is that we have a number of high focus, high mission driven people that work on their passions and on their projects. So what we can offer right now to people, if anyone listening at home or at the pool or at the gym, they're listening to us right now, if you have a project in one of these areas that I mentioned, even if it's not one of these areas, please still reach out. You can go to the Luma link that we have on our social networks, and we are offering right now grants to everyone coming from Brazil, and also other people that are connected with the Founder House some way. We are offering $2,000 per month of grant, so you can come over here and explore your own business and try to accelerate it. Mostly what we do is we give access to our resources to people. We do coaching, pitch preparation. We give some basis, some theoretical basis for people to develop what they are working on. But ultimately, this is a consequence of how much work you put. The more you put, the more you're going to get out of this. Because we are a community. We are here to build with builders. So if you come over here and you work hard, I guarantee you that you're going to find something. You're going to find an angle to grow your and to bring your visions into reality.
And you know what, Pedro, as nicely as you say it, if I hadn't seen it, I wouldn't have believed it. But guys, I was there and I saw this in live fucking action, okay? Pardon my Portuguese here, but I literally saw this happening. I saw some incredible founders, incredible scientists, entrepreneurs, like the folks at Symbiont, Jason and Cassix, the folks at Westy, Sebastian and Ariel, and many other entrepreneurs who I met there were just outstanding, incredible individuals, so focused and so deeply involved in developing their projects. And you could just see how tired they were of the previous attempts they had made in the previous jurisdictions in which they had worked, trying to bring their products to market, and how the fresh air, no pun intended, of Infinita, of Prospera, of Roatan.
It's quite fresh.
Was, basically, yeah, it is quite fresh, right? It's almost as fresh as the magic island of Florianopolis. But I'm just kidding. It's actually quite fresh. And, you could just see these guys being in their element, and I think that's what you guys are offering there, a group of select individuals who are really focused, some really smart people. Oh my God, like almost everybody I met there was a genius. Like I was so surprised, right? I was like, what the hell is going on? I usually, go into an ecosystem and I got to try to pinpoint, who's going to be like the really smart entrepreneurs. And almost everybody who I met in the ecosystem there was someone who was developing something serious. And then Pedro talked about investment, and I believe him because I know Sebastian of HealthSpan Capital, and I know that guy's invested in like 35 long bio companies, longevity biotech companies, So, and he comes from Cambrian Pharma, a really well-known entrepreneur in the space, and a really cool fund. and now he's basically seeding a bunch of these entrepreneurs. So
Sure.
it's there, it's happening. We're seeing it happen. And like you said, the top 10 startups that were pre-seed that you guys accelerated last year were able to raise over $10 million.
Yes,
over $10 million. That's a lot of money, guys. You know, that's like
especially for
60
pre-seed.
million real. That's 60 million real in Brazil for 10 companies, averaging at 6 million each pre-seed. That's pretty decent numbers.
Yeah, it's really decent, and in this particular case, so it's a great number. But what I would say, I come from Lisbon, I come from Portugal, and what happens in a lot of the capital markets, especially in Southern Europe, but most around all Europe, is that they're not quite efficient. You have lower figures for high equity stakes on the company. In this particular case, when I came over here, I was trying to understand how can someone coming from a country where capital markets are not so efficient have access to something similar to what exists in the US. So that's why, in fact, I came over here because I was pitching my own startup in an event in Lisbon, and someone told me there might be some eccentric folks in a Caribbean island working to make death optional. So you might enjoy to get to know them. And for my great surprise, when I got over here, it was true. In the beginning, I thought it might be a lie and it could be a cult, but then I realized that actually there was for the first time in my life, I felt that I could talk about the ambitions of the project that I usually talk about, and I was not ridiculed. I had the luck. So the question that follows would be how. So it was not from a place of non-belief, was from a place to how can you make this a reality, and it made me feel actually at home. And so everyone right now that has the right kind of ideas, they can come over here and have access to a capital infrastructure, to a startup and development infrastructure, like they were in one of the most advanced startup hubs in the world, like San Francisco, or even in UK or anywhere in the Bay Area. Yeah, but if there's any question, if you want to understand, if you have any kind of particular project that you would like to bring and understand how which resource would you have available to help you achieve your goals, if you have any kind of idea or collaboration that you are searching for, currently Infinita City, we are here permanently, but we started this year from the 3rd of January until right now is going to be the 3rd of April. We are doing a pop-up city. The same thing that you are going to have in Florianopolis with IP City, we're also doing over here, but during these first years of the months of the year, first months of the year, to be precise. So these grants that you are offering are for anyone from a Founders House ecosystem that will be willing and is interested on taking the startup and entrepreneurial path in a serious manner and come and build. So we would be happy to understand if there's any questions so we can help.
Yeah, so I'll actually add to that, Pedro. So on top of the Founder House network, there is the Jupiter network, which is much larger. Actually, Jupiter is a much more established company. We've been developing it for many years now, and we represent the largest ecosystem of investors, VCs, angels, family offices, corporate, all sorts of investors in Brazil. And their portfolios represent more than 12,000 startups. So through
Incredible.
These startups that are already funded, a lot of them are facing these types of hurdles. So I'm hoping to get some of these companies, as well as some of the earlier stage stuff, over to you guys so that we can start to build what Sebastian Bittencourt and I call the Floripa Prospera sandwich, or rather the IP Infinita sandwich, you know. So we're going to start to build these companies that are going to be based in Brazil through Floripa, which is kind of our special economic zone. For now, it's special in our hearts. Soon it'll actually become a real special economic zone. And then we're going to connect it with the real special economic zone in Prospera, where Infinita is operating, so we can develop these companies faster, bring their products to market faster, and then tap into the massive Brazilian market of consumers and would-be investors and buyers of these products.
Fantastic. So I have a question over here. So people are asking me usually, in this particular case, people are asking if this project is only for pre-seed startups, early stage startups. So what we're usually the simple answer is no. This is for most startups that are aligned with the field that I was mentioning: biotech, cybernetics, Web3. What happens is, depending on which stage of development you are, we provide there's different plans, different objectives that you can apply over here. If you're in a pre-seed, the main goal that you want to have is to go something from 0 to 1, to make sure that you are ready to have at least a theoretical MVP to start fundraising. So the goal is for you to be practically ready to go on your fundraising for the first time. So we test all the bases of what is considered to be required for a successful fundraise. And then we prepare you to start pitching and communicating in a proper manner, so we can do raise your first capital, and we help with this process. We do consulting in this process. If on the other hand, you're already a more advanced startup, what happens frequently in biotech and also in several other fields is that, okay, you got your first fundraising, but right now you have problems, for example, getting clients, or you are searching for your second fundraising. So we help a lot with the communication aspect. So we help you how to communicate to your audience and how to create sales funnels. And we also provide also the pitch sessions are actually useful because we help you convey your message in a much more effective manner and help you show off what have you done with the money that you firstly acquired. So there's several stages of development. But in this particular case, there's a third option that is actually quite interesting, but mostly for biotech startups. We also help you set up these all the requirements to go to market in under a year. So we help doing several things. All of them are regarding with strategy consulting and the access to resources and ecosystems that they usually would not have access to. So you would come over here and you have access to a community of people that are part of Infinita, like Brian Johnson, Naval and Prospera, Brian Johnson, Naval Ravikant, Brian Armstrong. We have the luck to have the attention of some of the most interesting luminaires in the world that we live in, and that's a really, really amazing place to start from. And additionally, you also have access to main sources of funding from the United States and other efficient capital markets.
I was gonna say, actually, when I heard one time someone refer to Prospera as the Silicon Valley for longevity biotech outside near shore of the US. I thought it was bullshit until I got there, and I actually met people from Silicon Valley there. So then I was like, holy shit, there's actually investors and entrepreneurs from Silicon Valley who are coming here to do the job, because not even in Silicon Valley some of this stuff rolls nowadays, right? Like, so it basically this is like a haven for all entrepreneurs from all sorts of areas from around the world to come in. So Pedro, we have a question from Pablo. He was saying that he would like to have a conversation about his idea. So Pablo, first of all, there is a form that Francine is going to share here in the chat, as well as on Instagram and on X. We've already shared it everywhere on Luma. That's where you can apply with your idea, and then we can evaluate it and then basically get back to you on it. But if you have a question specific to your idea, you can ask right now.
Yeah, completely. And as that is articulated or not, and follow in based on what you're saying, Nima. So we have the luck to have people that are from the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, some of the most advanced markets in the world to come over here. Of course, we are still far, far away to be on the same level of technological development. Still, we can do stuff that they cannot do over there. And this aspect of specialization is fundamental when you're doing some kind of development. So nowhere else in the world you can go to market in under a year in biotech. So that's happening completely change the iteration cycle of startup development in this specific field. So if you are a startup that exists for 5 years and has all the safety data that they require, you can start treating people and saving lives next year, by the end of this year, possibly even. And this is one of the things that we are doing. And the main goal of Infinita is to become the last mile platform that connects startups and the special economic zones. We want to make sure that we allow you to implement your ideas as fast as possible, because we need progress, especially in this realm of biotech.
Yeah, so that's great that you put that. So it's possible basically to bring your product to market in less than a year. The acceleration program structure, now let's look at this. So it's a month long. There are pitching sessions, and I can attest to having assisted one of the pitching sessions, which I saw in my last few hours there. You know, I made sure I go to the airport at the last second before my flight, so I get to watch all of those pitches. And I was so impressed, because these were scientist entrepreneurs who had these crazy frontier ideas that may or may not ever happen. But what they had been able to do with you guys' help was break down the massive idea into a manageable little steps where they can start to show tangible advances moving forward. And it's incredible, because I would love the Jupiter and the Founder House network, not from just Brazil, but from all over Latin America, Canada, US, wherever you are on Earth or somewhere else. Maybe you're from Jupiter like this guy. You'd be able to actually bring your startup idea and bring yourself over to Infinita and check out how we can basically break down these like massive ideas into short, manageable steps that people can understand and they can rally behind, and they can help you develop it by bringing resources to it, right? So, Pedro, can you tell me another thing? What I saw the last time about the last cohort of acceleration that you had done was an incredible deal. Companies had basically come there, they had gotten all this help, and then at the end of the acceleration program, they were offered basically a voluntary equity position, and it was fantastic. It was a great deal for all of them, I saw. Is that something that's happening this time again?
Yeah, we always do that. So we don't make money with the startups themselves directly, because our main goal here is to develop an ecosystem. So the way that we usually operate is we provide free consulting and advisory services while this is happening, and we have casual conversations with everyone, even if they are not part of the project, of the program. But eventually, if during 6 months what we are doing becomes something useful, if we helped you increase your sales or fundraising, or we made interesting connections, and if you want for us to be part of your team and keep giving you advices throughout your life of your company, we have a fast agreement. So basically, depending on which stage you are, you can volunteer something between 0.25 to 1% equity, so we are part of what you're building. And this is optional. And if, for example, in the period of 6 months, you don't enjoy what we are doing, we don't take anything. So this is usually what we do. We provide access in exchange, involuntary exchange of equity. That's the only way that we make money out of these. And we don't make money right away, because only if you are successful, we get something out of it. So it's not even a monetization mechanism. Yes, but this is still available, and we want to have a stake on the people that we work with. That's why we do it this way. And I have a question over here, by the way. Some people
Just before
ask,
that, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm gonna congratulate you, and I'm gonna say you're welcome, because at the Founder Institute, where I used to work and where many of us here used to work, we developed the FAST agreement. So you're welcome for using that. We've used it now for over 1,000 companies. And I love the terms of that, because it works for everybody when the company does well. And when it doesn't do well, or things change, then nobody basically has anything to lose there. It's a beautiful agreement.
Fantastic. I didn't know that. I'm so happy to learn that. Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's really, I think it's one of the fairest agreements I ever seen. I'm really happy that thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, you can thank the Founder Institute, where I used to also work on, But I thought it was a fantastic concept, and we developed it over the years. Every year it became leaner and better. And then now many organizations are using it. So that's fantastic. So tell us more about this question you're bringing up.
Okay, so basically people are asking how can they participate if there's anything happening outside of Prospera. So basically, right now our main hub is here of Infinita is in Prospera, in Roatan, but we usually go around the world in events. We participate in a lot of stuff in San Francisco. Last year I was in the UK, I was in Germany, we were in Buenos Aires. We go around a lot of the events that are happening globally. However, right now we are exploring partnerships with different hubs. So for example, in San Francisco, we have a partnership with Evita's House. So it's a hacker house that organizes events that we attend to, and they represent us. And we are open, we are starting expanding this potential network to other places in the world. For example, some of our partners have houses in San Francisco, New York, in Lisbon, in Boston, in Cambridge, the UK. And right now what's happening is we're creating these intersectional nexus and hubs where anyone can join us. You also can become part of the community if you want to participate online by buying one of our access passes. If you buy access pass through our website, you can come to our Telegram, you can participate in our online events because we are active throughout all year. And this is a joint effort. So yes, there's a way of participating online. And we also organize from time to time pitches that are open for everyone online.
And I can attest to the quality of this content and stuff that you guys share through the program, through the Telegram group especially. And, it's really valuable, guys. So if anybody is interested and doesn't qualify for this program this time, don't give up. Just follow the group, buy an access pass, follow the content, follow the community, and let's add a new access point to this network, Pedro. Florianopolis and Brazil.
Definitely.
Founder House and Jupiter bring to you a massive network of startup investors from across the Brazil network, who then represent an even bigger network of founders and their startups across the Brazilian network. So, we don't have any more time now. We were interrupted briefly earlier and didn't get to finish too many of the questions here we have on the list. But why don't we do this again? We're going to do this again. What I want you guys to do, anybody who's listening now, is just put your questions there in Twitter, on YouTube, on Instagram, or just send it to us. And then we're going to take care of you and make sure that your startup gets looked at by Pedro and the team at Infinita. And then we'll send you over there if you've got a really good idea that fits the mold of this awesome emerging acceleration program.
Fantastic. Nima, thank you so much. Please, everyone, apply to the form. And I really hope to see you here in Infinita. And I hope also to see you there in the Founder House and in Floripa. I'm really excited to whatever can come to fruition through this partnership. So thank you so much.
Yeah, actually, since Pedro's accent needs to be worked on, he's going to come to Florianopolis during IPE City. During IPE City, he's going to learn the right Portuguese accent. I'm kidding, the Brazilian accent. And
podemos praticar.
And we're going to.
Eu estou orgulhoso da minha pronúncia portuguesa, mas também acho que o português do Brasil é musicalmente fantástico. Muito obrigado.
Mesmo.
Thank you very
much. O teu
português
é bonito. Você é uma pessoa bonita e teu português é bonito, cara.
Muito obrigado.
Abraços,
muito obrigado.
As we say in Brazil, abraços, and live long and prosper.
And Prospera. Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.